This is a huge moment here at Norwalk at the Summit Racing Equipment Nationals. It's the K&N Horsepower Challenge. Introductions are underway. Jason Line being introduced. He has never won the challenge. In just a few moments, he will face Erica Enders. He's the #1. Here's the way they run the K&N Horsepower Challenge. The drivers accumulate points. They started at this race last year all the way up to Bristol a week ago.
They took the top 7 points earners for a spot in the K&N Horsepower Challenge, and the 8th and final position was voted online, and that ended up going to Erica Enders. Now, they got a $76,000 purse with $50,000 going to the winner, Paul.
Yeah, and if you win the race on Sunday as well, you get another $50,000, and then you are rich. And Bob, right now, you're the best friend of Mike Dunn and Paul Page. You can win that thing that way. This was earlier. Now watch Roger Brogdon. Remember, the K&N is part of qualifying. And Roger Brogdon currently sits as the #1 qualifier right now. That could change in the running of this first round of the K&N Challenge. Here's the way they'll pair up.
And when you look at that ladder, Roger Brogdon is going to have Mike Edwards in that first round matchup. Mike Edwards is going to have the lane choice, but he's also going to be trying to just get in the field. Also, Alan Johnson and Shane Gray, Greg Anderson and Ron Krisher. And as you mentioned, Jason Line will have lane choice over Erica Enders.
Well, the first pair is ready to go. Ron Krisher over there on the far side, and Greg Anderson. Some of the most sophisticated cars in the world. They can do so many adjustments with timers on these cars, including on the shock absorbers. For Greg, his 9th K&N Horsepower Challenge. Last year, he used 2 hole shots to win the final round over Mike Edwards. Now he faces Ron Krisher, who, being from right here in Ohio, not all that far away, thinks this is a very big deal. He would love to come home with the win, and he runs power for Mike Edwards.
As far as Greg Anderson goes, his one pass, the chassis and engine very, very close. They know exactly where to go to make the car better. For Ron Krisher, he now has the help of a former world champion of this class, Jim Yates, helping him out. They said they were too aggressive in the middle during their first pass, so they're going to gear it a little closer to 0, try to get the motor and the rear end a little closer together, and they think that may be enough.
Well, based on the times they ran that first session, they were within 1/1000th of a second. A 660 with a 2 for Greg Anderson, a 660 with a 3 for Ron Krisher. Now, we talk about pressure here. It's a Summit race for Greg Anderson, a sponsors race. Usually it's added pressure, but both him and Jason seem to thrive on it. Seem like they always do very well at their sponsors races for the most part.
Did you see his eyes a moment ago? He's ready.
Focused. Wow. The line.
Goodbye to Ron Krisher right off. Let's see what Greg is capable of pulling down. It's a 660 at 209 miles an hour.
Neither driver had great reaction times to go on board with Greg Anderson, but right away Ron Krisher had problems, probably spun the tires way too hard when he let the clutch out. Greg Anderson almost matched his qualifying time, and it was good enough to move him to the next round.